Hi, so in this video I want to show some of my kind of favorite types of hijabs because I do wear different types of hijabs materials depending on what I'm doing. If I'm in the gym or if I'm, different types of settings and just depending on what else I might be wearing. So some of my favorite kinds of hijabs is these types of silk kind of hijabs. So first of all, silk is quite good, for the hair. If you're using sort of bed sheets that has silk, on the pillowcases and stuff. So I really like these, and also this one in particular has like this kind of texture. So it's not super just, plain. It has something extra to it. So it looks like a sand dune, kind of. And also it's quite long, this one, however. So I have this one in reddish, deep kind of red color as well, and I really like these. So these are more, for kind of, kind of nicer types of hijabs, because of the material, because it's quite shiny since it's silk, but it doesn't really come up so well on this camera. So those I really like, and they are also very lightweight, so they work in any kind of, type of hot climate. So when I'm doing some kind of exercise, I like to wear this in particular, but I don't know the exact name of this. This is a form of, I think it's like chiffon or something, but it's not chiffon, as in a more kind of heavy type. So this one is very like lightweight in the material, and it also is kind of having these kind of stripes, or how I should say. So it's almost as you can sort of see through this. So when I'm wearing this one, I would wear probably something under because it looks much better. But because it's so lightweight and it's also very long, so you have a lot to work with in this one. Because it's so lightweight, it works really well at the gym, and it's also really, if you're traveling or doing something, it's also very easy, to pack, because it takes literally only one, hand, to sort of scrunch it kind of together. And also it's very easy to wash if you don't have a washing machine, for some reason. So this one I really like, and the color is also very kind of nice because it has this type of mauvey kind of color, so it works really well with all kinds of, types of other kind of colors. So that's something that I'm wearing, even if I'm doing some kind of exercises and workouts outdoor, if it's more like humid kind of weather, I would wear this. So it's perfect if you're living sort of in the Middle East or something, because this one is, by the way, from a Turkish kind of brand. So it's called, let me see, it's called In Essence, that's from Turkey. And then this one is also like a sort of more, actually this one would work quite well even in more kind of formal type of settings, because of the pattern is very like modern, abstract, flower, office kind of material, or the pattern, However, this one is also very good, for workouts, because it's such a kind of nice light material, and this one is a form of cotton. So I think it's a mix between cotton and viscose. So that's the type of material, and this one is also, now I have this one, folded into two. So the length is also really, long, and also it's kind of shorter, on the sides, so it fits exactly the head one time. So because of that reason, it's quite easy to, sort of wrap up when you're going to the gym. And then I have some other kinds of chiffon, kind of basic colors, because probably it's a quite good idea to have some basic type of colors that goes with any kind of, colorful and like patterns and stuff, that you may have on your other types of clothes. So this one is from Dubai, and this one is very nice, kind of chiffon type of material. I do not know exactly the exact kind of material here, because it's very kind of soft in one way, and it's still very, very lightweight. So as you can see here, you can also see through it. But this is kind of, if you ever have seen these kinds of you know, hijabs that you're finding in the more southern parts of Arabia, this is the kind of fabric that you would find over there, you know. So the fabric is super nice, and you can wash this one 50 times and it's not going to get any kind of, you know, it doesn't going to fall off or something, you know. And actually I got this one as a free contemporary. Yeah, I got this one as a complimentary kind of gift when I bought an abaya from Dubai, you know. Because when you're buying abayas over there, you're often getting like a headscarf included into the abaya. So this is, let me first see what the brand is here. This is called Ekardin, and this is a Turkish kind of brand, and this one is also from that same brand. And these are, as I said, they're coming from Turkey, and they have very good, like, you know, the color is very neutral, and it's a common type of chiffon material. And I mean, if you're going to use any kind of needles in here, be careful so you don't get any kind of thread falling out. But these are just very kind of random, everyday type of, you know, hijabs, and they are also very lightweight. So they are, you know, they are very lightweight. They work in any kind of weather. And then I have some other kind of, you know, embroidery types of hijabs, which have been, you know, coming from Jordan, and have Palestinian. These are actually Palestinian kind of patterns from their kind of culture, heritage, you know. So this is also a chiffon kind of hijab, and this one is actually handmade embroidery. So it's quite amazing when you see the embroidery here. And this one is also very lightweight in its material, and here I found one of these pins. And by the way, the pins that I tend to use, because I do use quite a lot of pins every now and then, depending on what kind of hijab thing I'm doing, or headscarf, however you want to define it. Then I like to use these kind of white pearls on the pins, or black pins are also quite good, but it depends on what type of color it is. So this one is another form of chiffon. It's more like, I think it's more like a crepe kind of material, but it's still chiffon. And this one is also very, like, you know, you can sort of get this one into any type of luggage or, you know, space if you're traveling. This is another type of crepe kind of chiffon hijab. It's also, as you can tell, slightly see-through here, and it also have this kind of Jordanian and Palestinian kind of embroidery on it. So it has a border of embroidery here with very nice kind of color combinations, and I have quite a few of these, because every time I go to Amman, to Jordan, I go and buy these, you know, because if you're in the old sort of part of Amman, you will find a lot of these very incredible, you know, embroidery kind of shops there, you know. So I tend to buy these types of things there, you know. And then of course I have some other kinds of cotton. This is one of them. This is a cotton kind of hijab, and this one is also from Turkey, and I wonder what kind of brand this one is. I actually have cut off, unfortunately, the brand, but I think it's one of these more common kind of hijab brands that you also find in Turkey. I mean, there is a lot of, you know, headscarf things in Turkey. So this one has a very kind of, I don't know, nice kind of Arabic inspired pattern, and this is sort of a mix, I would say. It's not so much cotton in it. I think it's more like viscoses. So I wanted to do, like, also in this video, since I'm showing my kind of favorite hijabs slash headscarves, I wanted to show how I'm doing this, you know, because as you may know, you typically will wear something like this. So I'm wearing a undercap here. So this one has a neck cover here, and it also covers there. And this one I got in from a UK based kind of web shop, you know, that sells hijabs. So this one is in viscoses, and you know, however, it's whenever you wash it, whenever I wash it, you know, it kind of takes some time for it to dry, but I have a few of them, you know. And also I like to use these kind of tubes, tube kind of you know, underscarf things, you know. And I mean, whenever I go to Dubai, whenever I'm in Jordan, I just stock up on these things, you know. I buy these things there because they are a lot cheaper and there is a huge variety of them, you know. So I'm just buying those when I go there, you know. And as you can see, because I wanted to show also that you can actually wear some earrings. Now these are not like bangles or hoops, but they are like you know, they are sort of hanging down like this. So it is possible to wear earrings quite simply. So typically when I have this kind of, you know, viscoses slash cotton kind of material, I tend to put first the, you know, as I said, it's not always actually, because this one is kind of more thick, so I wouldn't necessarily need an underscarf for this one, you know. But if I'm wearing any kind of chiffon or silk or crepe kind of hijab, then I will wear an underscarf. So I'm going to show how I will do my sort of hijab style here. So what I'm doing is that I'm leaving one of the sides kind of shorter on this side, and then I'm going to fold slightly here this upper kind of line here, and then you can sort of choose how far you want the, you know, the hijab, you know, to come down on the forehead, or you know, whatever you sort of preferring. I like actually when I'm wearing the hijab that it sort of covers here on the sides, sort of that it reach to almost to where the eyebrow is starting, because it just looks better. It gives you a smaller face. It looks like you have a petite face, you know, that's what it does. Also, you can sort of adjust here how big you want your forehead to look like. So if you're drawing the this can also be adapted to what kind of, you know, sort of face shape that you have. So if you have like a big kind of long forehead, which I sort of actually have, sometimes I tend to make my forehead look smaller by pulling this hijab like further down on my forehead, you know. But I really like to take the sides here closer to the eye, and this is also really good if you are in any kind of sunny kind of place, you know, to actually protect the sun air, or like protect the eye area from the sun, just by pulling the hijab closer towards the, you know, side of the eyes, because then you're not going to get a wrinkle around your eyes, you know, and that's like almost impossible even if you're using sunscreens and stuff, you know. So I have one of these. I'm going to take off this one now. This is one of these kind of you know, things, hijab pins that you sort of can lock, and I'm using these quite a lot, and I think you can buy like a package of these from, you know, some web shops or whatever you might find them. If you find these, I would say like buy 2 of the packs, because they are quite, you know, inconvenient if you do not have them. I mean, they're not necessarily to have, but I think they are quite practical. And so why I was having this one now on was because the underscarf was kind of too big, you know, so that's why I was keeping it here. So anyhow, what I typically do is that I will just put this pin under the shin, wherever I feel like, you know, that it's not going to slide. So now it sits on, and then I will just leave some, now I have the earrings on here. I mean, this is much faster than doing any kind of hairstyle, by the way. I mean, oh my goodness. So actually, since I'm wearing an undercap currently under this one, I would just leave this longer side over my shoulder like this. But if I'm not wearing an undercap, then I will fold this longer piece. So I will fold almost half of the scarf kind of inwards. So I will have and take it, you know, above the up here towards the back of the head, and then I will sort of just pull and flip this one forward, sort of adjust so I get it right. And honestly, after some time you have been doing these types of things, you get like you become a pro on this, you know, because it's super simple, by the way. So that's what I would do. I would pin this one. No, actually I have one pin here. So let's pin this one. I would pin this one sort of on the upper side here of the head, and probably on both of the sides here if I feel like I want to have it 100,000% secure, you know. And then this one is just hanging here. I mean, you can leave it hanging or whatever, or you can just put it into some shirt, you know. And then you have this longer piece here, so maybe you want to, you know, use it at the front here, or you might just flip it over your shoulder, or whatever you feel like is suitable for you. And then, you know, over the day, if you're wearing this thing, you can just, you know, adjust here on the sides of the face, so you maybe will do some kinds of, you know, foldings and stuff. So that's sort of what I'm doing. So this was as I said, a cotton kind of viscose material, but I also have, you know, all these kind of chiffon stuff. But I was thinking that I can make other videos on, you know, other types of tutorials, because there is quite a lot of different fun kinds of you know, tutorials to make with these hijabs. So I'm going to remove this pin now, because as I said, I'm wearing already I'm already wearing like an underscarf here. And also you can sort of adjust if you want to, you know, however you want the neck sort of to look like and so forth. So I mean, you can really work around a lot of things. Typically I wash my hijabs. If I wear one over one day, I will, you know, put it into the washing, you know, and wash it, just because you don't know what kind of bacteria and stuff you get over the day. And you know, the good part is that they do not get stuck in your hair, so you will not go to sleep and have, you know, or just, you know, have all of those kinds of bacteria that you will pick up from whatever types of environments you might be in. So yeah, I think it's quite simple. And I mean, as I said, this kind of thing, it stays on quite well. And I mean, you do not have to like put the pin under the shin like super tight. I know that some people might do it, you know, and then they will be like, oh, it's so uncomfortable. But I mean, it's almost like you do not even feel like you're wearing anything, you know. And of course there are like other types of styles. So for example, you maybe want some extra foldings on the side. I mean, you can sort of work around whatever you want with this. Now, if you're having like a pattern like this, I would probably not go with too much layers and stuff. I would probably do something more like, you know, kind of sleek, you know, just for the sake of the pattern is quite vibrant and like, you know, giving quite a lot of energy already, you know. But if I'm wearing something, you know, that is more, let's say this one is a good one. If I'm wearing this one, which is a very lightweight material, and it's just a plain color in a very kind of, you know, basic type of color, then it's quite nice to actually work with some layers. So do I have the time to show you? So what I mean with layers, I'm going now, you know that I have one underneath here. Well, you can basically take the end, put like the pin underneath your shin here, and then you can sort of do one layer here. So you have this type of nice kind of layer, and you can work with the other side here as well. So you can go in with some feather type of layers, or you can, you know, whatever you want to do with this outside, you know. So there's quite a few different things you can do. This one also works really well, you know, to sort of make bows with. So if you like to have a bow, you know, at the front of your neck, that can be quite nice, or on the sides. So there is that, you know, those are my kind of favorites. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you.